the US Army had a secret missile. Brand new, never used in combat. Iran was its debut, the target a military compound. What it hit? A girls' volleyball team in a school full of children. 21 dead in Lamerd, 168 in Minab. America's newest weapon. Children were its first victims. The opening days of the United States-Israel war on Iran are now under intense scrutiny, as new evidence raises serious questions about the weapons used and the civilian toll on the ground. On February 28th, a strike in the southern Iranian city of Lamerd hit a sports hall and an adjacent elementary school located near a military compound allegedly linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. According to local officials cited by Iranian media, at least 21 people were killed. An investigation by the New York Times, backed by weapons experts and visual analysis, suggests that the weapon used was the Precision Strike Missile, a newly developed short-range ballistic missile from the US Army. This marks the first known instance of the PrSM being used in combat. Videos verified from the scene show a missile with a distinctive silhouette, followed by a mid-air explosion. The weapon is designed to detonate above its target, dispersing tungsten pellets that cause widespread fragmentation damage. Photos from Lamerd show buildings pockmarked with small impact holes, consistent with this type of airburst munition. Experts say the damage pattern aligns closely with what is known about the PrSM.
The pattern of fragmentation damages are impressive and match with the few technical information available on the PrSM.
Jeffrey Lewis, a nuclear non-proliferation expert, said that while the missile seen in the footage resembled the PrSM, it also shared similarities with another US ground-launched weapon, the GMLRS-ER guided rocket. However, he noted that the GMLRS-ER has a much shorter range of about 93 miles, compared to the PrSM's 400 miles, meaning it would likely have had to be fired from inside Iran, which he described as highly unlikely. A US official also confirmed to the New York Times that the weapon used in the Lamerd strike was the PrSM, though key questions remain unanswered. The missile only completed prototype testing last year. On March the 1st, US Central Command released footage of its launch, and days later, Brad Cooper confirmed its first combat use. With the system still new, it remains unclear whether the strike resulted from deliberate targeting, technical failure, or flawed intelligence. It is not known whether the sports hall or school were intended targets, or whether the strike resulted from targeting errors, technical faults, or flawed intelligence. At the time of the strike, the sports hall was reportedly being used by a girls' volleyball team, while the school was actively in use by children. The Lamerd strike came on the same day as another deadly incident in the city of Minab, where a US Tomahawk missile hit a school, reportedly killing around 175 people, many of them children. In response, Iran has escalated its accusations against Washington. Tehran has publicly named 2 US Navy officers, alleging they were responsible for authorizing the Minab strike. The officers have been identified as Lee R. Tate, the commanding officer, and Jeffrey E. York, the executive officer of the USS Spruance. In a statement posted by Iran's embassy in South Africa, the accusation was made explicit.
Remember these 2 criminals, Lee R. Tate, the commander, and Jeffrey E. York, the executive officer of the USS Spruance, who ordered the launch of Tomahawk missiles 3 times, killing 168 innocent children at a school in Minab. Don't they have children of their own?
As the conflict deepens, the use of newly developed weapons like the PrSM, alongside mounting civilian casualties, is likely to intensify international scrutiny and raise urgent questions about targeting decisions and accountability in modern warfare. A key pillar of American air power has been struck. as a major attack on a US base in Saudi Arabia raises fresh concerns about the vulnerability of critical military assets in an escalating conflict. According to officials, a crucial airborne early warning aircraft was among those damaged during a coordinated Iranian missile and drone strike on Prince Sultan Air Base on March 27th. The assault reportedly injured 12 US service personnel and caused significant damage to multiple aircraft stationed at the base. Among the most serious losses was an Boeing E-3 Sentry, a highly specialized airborne warning and control system often described as a flying radar. Reports indicate that the aircraft's distinctive radar dome, which houses the AN/APY-2 surveillance system, sustained severe damage after the strike hit the rear section of the fuselage. The extent of the destruction has led to suggestions that the aircraft may be beyond repair. The E-3 Sentry plays a central role in modern warfare. Capable of tracking aircraft, missiles, and drones from hundreds of miles away, it provides commanders with a comprehensive real-time view of the battle space. This allows for the rapid coordination of defensive and offensive operations, including directing fighter jets and air defense systems to intercept incoming threats. Military analysts note that the loss of such an aircraft represents a significant operational setback. The United States is believed to operate only a limited number of these platforms, with approximately 16 currently in active service. Each unit carries an estimated cost of around $500 million, reflecting both its technological sophistication and strategic importance. In addition to the AWACS aircraft, reports indicate that several refueling planes were also damaged in the attack, including multiple Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker jets. These aircraft are essential for extending the range and endurance of US air operations, further underlining the scale of the impact. The strike, carried out on March 27th, involved a combination of ballistic missiles and drones, marking one of the most serious breaches of US air defenses in the region during the current conflict. At least 10 of the injured personnel were airmen, with 2 reported to be in serious condition. The targeted aircraft is understood to be part of the 552nd Air Control Wing, a unit responsible for providing airborne surveillance and command capabilities. The damage to this asset could affect the United States' ability to monitor and respond to threats across a wide area, particularly at a time when drone and missile attacks are becoming increasingly frequent. The incident forms part of a broader pattern of escalating hostilities, with Iranian strikes targeting US military positions across the Middle East. These attacks are aimed at disrupting American operations and signaling Tehran's capacity to challenge US presence in the region. A major escalation in the conflict with Iran has placed American forces under renewed pressure after a significant strike on a key US airbase in Saudi Arabia wounded multiple service members and exposed vulnerabilities in regional defenses. At least 12 American personnel were injured in the strike on Prince Sultan Air Base. On March 27th, AP reported citing sources. 2 of those wounded are reported to be in serious condition. The officials told The Telegraph that the assault was a combined missile and drone attack. The strike is being viewed as one of the most serious breaches of US air defenses during the month-long conflict. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry confirmed 6 ballistic missiles were fired toward Riyadh, with only 2 intercepted and 4 not stopped. The officials claimed the remaining missiles fell into waters of the Arabian Gulf and uninhabited land areas, with no reported casualties or significant damage. According to DropSite New, however, satellite imagery and open-source analysis indicate a strike on the apron at Prince Sultan Air Base, used by US aircraft, with visible fire damage consistent with a hit on at least 1 KC-135 refueling tanker. Tensions have further escalated with recent strikes on critical infrastructure in Kuwait. Iranian drones targeted key ports, including Shuwaik Port and Mubarak al-Kabir Port, causing material damage but no reported casualties. The attacks mark a significant shift, striking at vital economic hubs central to regional trade. This comes at a time of mixed messaging from Washington. President Donald Trump has spoken of his desire to be remembered as a great peacemaker, even as military operations in the region continue to intensify. He has also indicated that peace talks are underway, although Iranian officials have disputed those claims. Meanwhile, the United States has deployed additional warships and thousands of troops to reinforce its presence. Iran has carried out repeated strikes on US bases across the Middle East, using a combination of ballistic missiles and drones. The campaign is aimed at disrupting American operations and responding to ongoing US and Israeli attacks. As a result, US Central Command has dispersed forces across the region, relocating some personnel as far as Europe to reduce exposure. Although many incoming threats have been intercepted, officials acknowledge that systems are being stretched. Iranian drones, including low-cost models, have proven particularly challenging. These weapons are relatively cheap and expendable, while the systems used to intercept them are far more complex and costly. There have already been casualties. 6 US Army reservists were killed early in the conflict in a drone strike on a tactical operations center in Kuwait. Another service member died following an earlier attack on Prince Sultan Air Base. In total, nearly 300 American troops have been injured since the start of hostilities, with around 225 suffering traumatic brain injuries caused by missile blasts.